Yeah. You can run, you can lie, but you can't hide from what's coming. Yeah. Back roads rumbling, midnight thunder, truth on my tongue like a loaded gun, son. They sold the people, signed them papers, but the debt's due now and it ain't gonna run. I've seen the shadows in the marble halls, heard them laugh while the good man falls. But there's a line and they crossed it hard, now the hounds are loose in the devil's yard. Boots on the ground and the lights go red, you can feel it in your bones like the world's gone dead. No more mercy for the wolves that feed. This ain't a rumor, it's a reckoning speed. Yeah, the real justice is here. Hear the chains start breaking, blood in the storm is upon us, and the ground is shaking. It's accountability or bust, ain't no backroom trust, ain't no deals for treason. It's the truth, no bleeding reason. They tried to silence every whistle, tried to paint the lion as a pest, but the people woke and the fire spoke. Now the hammer's aimed at the guilty chest. Old glory flying, don't you doubt it. Ain't no storm that we can't outlast. From the heartland grit to the city streets, we're bringing justice, and we're moving fast. They can cry, they can spin, they can point and blame, but the truth don't bend and it don't play games. Every record, every lie, every dirty trail, when the bell rings loud, they gon' rot in jail. Yeah, no real justice is here. Hear the chains start breaking, and the storm is upon you and the ground is shaking. Watch accountability or bust, ain't no backroom trust, ain't no deals for treason. This is wartime season, this is wartime season. No more speeches, no more smiles, no more covering up dirty mouths. It's the law in the land and the people demand. Bring the gavel down, let it strike like thunder. And oh, real justice is here. Hey, hey, brother, storm is upon you. Accountability or bust, we don't fold, we don't hush. Get no deals for treason, every lie gets a reason. No mercy, just truth. No mercy.
Good evening, friends. Welcome to episode 44 of Real Justice. Today is Wednesday, June 17th, 2026. My name is Steve, also known as Real AF Patriot. This episode is streaming live on Rumble, X, and Pill. So please smash that thumbs up on Rumble. Press the heart on X. Take that red pill over on pill.net. And if you could also drop a comment and share the show on whichever platform you are watching, I would greatly appreciate it. Tonight's roundtable is sponsored by Hunter's Blend Coffee. Please visit huntersblendcoffee.com/realaf and use promo code REALAF for 10% off your very first order.
3, 2, 1.
Meet Paul, Ken, and Mike, three brothers-in-law who love Jesus, their families, America, hunting, and of course, great coffee. They are the owners of Hunter's Blend Coffee. They buy only the top 6% of specialty coffee beans for their locally roasted coffee, roasted with precision in small batches. They support the pro-life movement, combating sex trafficking, youth shooting sports, veterans hunting, and conservation. They offer 12-ounce bags, 5-pound bulk coffee, as well as single shots. So please visit huntersblendcoffee.com/realaf and use promo code REALAF for 10% off your very first order. So we kind of have a triangle table tonight. So Julie and Casey, many of you know they've been in Vegas this week at a conference, so they're still away. So I got Average Joe Patriot, as always. It was going to be Josh, the Justice Cometh, and Tracy Taylor filling in for both of them, but unfortunately Tracy was not able to make it, so we've got the Justice Cometh. So it's the three of us tonight. I'm sure we'll be able to put out a great show. Let me first I'm going to bring on my original co-host of Real Justice. Here is the Justice Cometh. What is up, Josh?
What's going on, Steve? Nothing. just kind of hanging back and enjoying the show, I guess.
Yeah. You said you weren't able to get on X too much today, so you weren't even really sure of what's going on, right?
Yeah, but I can wing it with the best of them, though.
Yep, you sure can. You sure can. So let's bring him on. Here is Above Average Joe Patriot. Are you there, actually, by the way, Joe? Because his camera is not on. He was just there, I swear. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Boom. What's up, fam? So good to see you guys all out there tonight on the 6/17/2026. It's Happy Q Day. I got my Q shirt on where we go one, we go all. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday. I am feeling way better today, y'all, than I was over the last couple of weeks. I got the back cracked yesterday. I got the things and stuff aligned, although I was so sore last night, man. Oh, my goodness. And this morning, very sore, but I can already tell things are going to get back to normal, and I'm going to be feeling 100% better. Hopefully, y'all are having a fantastic Wednesday. Sit down, relax, and get ready for the ride. Again, I have to say this real quick. I have absolutely enjoyed these Wednesday shows. And, honestly, this was Real Justice show that started. And I have been, completely honored to be a part of this show. And now to sit here with the Real Justice fam, I am super excited. So let's roll, fellas.
Yeah. I never forget that day, Josh. I got a text from Josh. We were texting every day anyway, but I never expected this. All of a sudden he's like, we should do a show. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and we should call it Real Justice, Real AF Patriot Justice. I was like, oh, wow. Like, how can you say no to that?
Yeah.
And then like four shows in, he's like, dude, I just got too much going on. I can't do this anymore.
But look where you're at now. I mean, it's one of our best Truth or Media shows because if I don't get to catch any of them through the week, I always want to sit down and fold clothes to Real Justice.
and especially because it's finally upon us, right?
Yeah, exactly. I remember you telling me one time, you said, man, when the treason starts going down and all these tribunals start going down, we want to air them live on Real Justice. I remember that.
Oh my goodness. If we ever actually get to if they air on television, like tribunals and stuff, can you imagine? I'll stream as long as whenever they're live, I will be live. No doubt.
Heck yeah.
No doubt. So, all right, let's start with this. Josh, you said you weren't really online today, so you may not have seen this. Maybe you did. I don't know. But Trump, the boss, walked in and told everybody at the G7 that he's the boss. So let's watch this. It's pretty funny. Here we go.
Hello, I'm the boss. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, President. Dear colleagues. So we have a photo.
Oh, yeah. Would you like to stay for the meeting? It's okay with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I mean, he owns the room. He always does. Nobody else could walk in there and say, I'm the boss like that. Obviously, the whole video is self-explanatory what happened there. What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Josh. What are your thoughts when you see that?
You're the boss when you got it all. When we have it all, you own the room. When you can look at every one of them MFers in the room and say, I got you. I got you. I mean, you can go in and walk in and say things. Hey, I'm the boss.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There's really nothing more to it. What about you, AJP?
I immediately started thinking of the Q drops when I heard the boss. And 1969 came in at 8/28/2018. Stay the course and trust the plan. Where we go one, we go all. And it is a question or a comment saying, boss, it sure was lonely before you came along. Thank you guys for taking these risks and concocting the plan. We are all in this together, and we are all right here for this purpose. Love you guys. And the response, no one person is above another. Oh, if only some people would reread that and actually take it to heart. That would be nice. Why does the fake news media put so much time, energy, effort into attacking a so-called conspiracy? Those who are attacked are the most are the biggest threat. Logic wins every single time. So that's what I thought of as soon as that came out, because again, it's just a nice little hat tip to the Anons as well, right? Yeah, the boss, man. Trump is the one who, kind of got this plan up and rolling and gave us hope and has kept us, going over this last 10, 11 years or however long it's been now, 11 years, 10 years. Has kept us up and going and understanding that no one is above another, which is why Trump highlights certain people and certain posts, like Real AF Patriot, for example, has been reposted by the boss and Julie and other people as well. But, it's just a nice little hat tip and reminding us that logic does win every time. And that's where we're at. We're getting to a common sense, logical situation here at the 250th anniversary of our founding of our country, and common sense has to go back to the Constitution. It just has to, and I believe that's where we're heading in the long run.
Yeah, no doubt. Emoj 25 reminding us 17 days until America 250.
Nice.
Wow, is it that close?
Yeah.
Man, we're going to be heading out here, just shortly. I was telling everybody on my morning show this morning, Dawning Justice, I said, guys, we're going to be on the ground interviewing people too. And we're going to be talking to people and getting their thoughts on things. So we're going to be boots on the ground at America's 250, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. You're going to get to touch AJP's beard. It's going to be awesome. Actually, I told you, I got to meet him for lunch, and I forgot to grab that sucker. So, yeah. I can't wait.
Well, technically, you said the first thing you said to me was, I'm going to grab that beer. And I said, you better buy me lunch first. And then he bought me lunch. So what happened afterward was off camera.
This guy. So
I'm going to try to make you turn red. You know that.
Oh. Yeah, you probably could in person.
I heard there's a rumor, though,
what's that?
Somebody might be coloring their beard for America's 250. I don't know. It's just something I've heard through the grapevine.
You're on mute, brother.
I don't know if I have a choice, to be honest. The wife is pretty much just like, or the wife, my sister was pretty much like, I bought the hairspray and everything, and she's already tried it out in her hair. So it's going to be a matter of time before this thing turns into a big, beautiful flag.
Bro, seriously, I want to see the beard with all the three colors, but then also the hat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Josh, have you seen this sucker?
Oh, yeah, I saw it when it was showing it on a show the other night.
You gotta have that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. We'll be all decked up and ready to go. I'll be standing out quite a bit.
So did you guys hear this? So when Trump was giving his speech at the G7 there, he said donuts once again.
No, I didn't.
So yeah, he said it while we were watching it live on my show. So I clipped it, and let's watch.
Hanging donuts from my beard.
you, President Trump. Oil prices are now plummeting. How do you see this agreement further affecting energy prices in the U.S. and the U.S. economy in the long term? And secondly, Mr. President, how do you think Vice President J.D. Vance did on The View yesterday?
Well, first of all, thank you for the word plummeting, because that's what's happening. Oil prices are plummeting. And that means oil prices are going to come down. You know, if you make donuts, you have a heating, you have a stove, and you have to buy the
oh my
the
God.
heat. You
He
need
said
gas
donuts.
or the electricity or whatever you use.
Wow.
Where's Julie when you need her?
I texted her like right as that happened, and she was like, "No way!" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'll clip it for you."
It's so funny, man. It's so funny. Just all these nice little hat tips for everybody out there just to keep us rolling.
Josh, Karen Holcomb is asking you to turn your volume up.
Yeah, what about now? Is everybody 5.5 now? I've got it like on max.
I think it's good on my end. What about for you, Joe?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So anyway, I don't know why he has now said donuts how many times. It just seems like a very weird thing to say. I do believe it's a shout out every single time he does it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, why else would he bring up donuts?
It's like, just a weird thing to say. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Out of all the things that he could be comparing to or whatever, using donuts as something is very interesting.
Yeah. That's so funny. Knock My Socks Off says, even I'm 5'5", so there you go. Because Knock My Socks Off, yes, you're usually very on top of that stuff.
True that.
Yeah, Marnie was saying the same thing. So, Marnie, turn up your volume.
Turn it up.
Sir lurks a lot. What's going on over on Pill? Says volume is good for him. Also, we got Biblical Smackdown. What's going on, Bibs, over there? Also, Enrique Alvarado, Texas girl over there, obviously. Who else is over on Pilled?
Guys are rolling. Good to see you guys over there on Pilled.
Be it. Knock My Socks Off is over there as well.
Guys, I don't hardly see anybody in Pilled on my morning show because I think they've all stayed up watching your show, AJ.
It's possible. It's possible that early morning is a tough slot, man. But the other side to the things and stuff there is that it's hard to grow on Pilled. It really is.
Yeah.
But it's not even just you. There's quite a few like real like late night shows there, right? So I think a lot of the audience is staying up really late and probably aren't up early for Josh's
there's only
show.
one real show at night, but yeah, there's multiple shows on at the same time. Anyways.
Yeah. So anyway,
anyway,
before moving on, did either of you have anything further to say on the donut comment there?
Just he keeps pointing us out over and over and over and over, and I believe that the reason he does it is because we have never wavered. None of us have ever wavered on President Trump. He knows who the real ones are. I mean, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
true that. I agree, Josh, and that's spot on. And the other thing that we just got to remember is that when we stay focused on the signal, then good things happen, right? I mean, it's that simple. And good things have happened to me because I stayed over the signal for a long time. You guys happen to pick me up out of the blue, and Truther Media has lifted me up big time. And so those things happen when you're staying on the signal and staying focused. It's the easy thing is just telling everybody that it's all fake and gay when we know it's not. There's a lot of stuff and things going on right now that's very important. It's an amazing time to be alive. But when you get those little nods, it just reminds us, like I said before, no one person is above another. We're all in this together. And it just seems that there's a divide out there, and wherever it's coming from or whoever it is, I could care less, man. I really don't. I know what I'm focused on. I know what we're focused on here with Truther Media. And what the most important thing is presenting the information to the people and let them discern for themselves. That's what this has always been about. And that's the focus, man. That's where we're staying.
AJP, have you noticed that the mainstream media is taking your sayings now everywhere? Stay in the signal. I mean, even John Solomon is saying that kind of stuff. Have you noticed that?
I have. I feel like Gutfeld said it one time, but I know Anna Polina Luna also said it. I remember, Joe, you shared that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been
I mean,
a lot.
I know you're not the first person to say it, but it just seems kind of.
Kevin Cork said something very similar to it as well. You know, he's someone who follows me on X, and I believe it's a great signal over there at Fox. And you know, there's only a handful, in my opinion, at Fox that are great. But you know, it's those little things, right, guys? It's those little things that we look forward to. It's those little things that keep us going and keep us moving in the right direction. And yeah, I mean, it's great to see all kinds of, like you said, there's been all kinds of different people talking about it, you know, and that's fantastic because that's what we're all about, and that's what we're going to continue to be about.
Bibbs over on Pill letting us know that the Iranian deal has been signed today, and Trump made it very clear if they don't do what they're supposed to do, he's going to blow shit up. I mean, it's like, I don't want to, but I'll blow, you know, he's going to blow him to smithereens. So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen there. Again, there's multiple things going on in Iran. Clearly, it's not just about that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that we're gonna see Iran break the deal like in the next week or so?
Well,
because didn't we have a signed deal once before and they went back on it immediately, or was the deal never signed? It didn't get to that point.
Ceasefire.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's my opinion on it. I think that Israel is saying, hey, we're not stopping in Lebanon no matter what this deal says. It's all going to be because it's all hinging on Israel and Bibi right now. But we all know that traces back to the crown. You know, the buck does not stop at Israel, people. And that's what I want everybody to remember, is that it's not just about Israel. Israel is one of the nation state of Israel is one of the last deep state hubs that there is. You know, we're taking out Ukraine, we're taking out Iran, we've taken out Venezuela, Cuba's on deck. I mean, that's what you have to remember, and I believe that's why Q said we're saving Israel for last. It's not because of the people that's in Israel, it's because of the nation state of Israel is going to go down, and they are the last ones that will be under the crown control.
Hey, Moo Mama 18 says, finally caught another live show. Greetings from the free state of Florida. Good to see you.
I want to move there.
I do too. I didn't know you lived so close to Florida. This past weekend, Josh sent me a picture of him and Tracy on the beach. He's like, hey, you got to move to Florida. And I was like, are you in Florida right now? He's like, yeah. He's like, it's a 3-hour drive. I'm like, oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we go to the beach a lot. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like really cool. Like, you know, you kind of get the best of both worlds, sort of,
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, we kind of live inland, you know, because we live in Hattiesburg. So it's just like a 3-hour drive to Destin. I mean, it's not bad at all. So
yeah, awesome.
We have a good time.
Destin is amazing, in my opinion. I love Destin. I've been there.
Yeah.
Destin. Now, if you guys remember back in the day, that was that old oil spill that happened right there near Destin. The Valdez, I believe it was, the Valdez oil spill. Remember that way back in the day? It was huge back then. So they literally redid, you know, those beaches. They scraped everything out of those beaches and put all brand new sand in and stuff. Like when you're in Destin, the beach is like a foot thick. It feels like snow almost, like you're walking in snow and sand on the beach. It's just such a nice area now, and they've completely obviously redone it. But awesome. It's amazing out there. I love it.
Clearest water you'll ever see.
It's beautiful. I love it. Had a great time there. Spent a week there. No, Josh, I think you're right on, man. You know, when you start talking about all this stuff and things that's going on with Iran, I mean, it definitely is multifaceted because, you know, we've talked about it over the last couple of weeks as well. You know, Iran is much bigger than I think anybody really realizes what's going on. Although I think now, like, and when I say that, I think, you know, the normies, but as far as like the people who are watching our shows understand how big of a deal Iran really is. You know, again, this is a big proxy for, you know, Hezbollah and, you know, ISIS and the rest of these. So when you start talking about the international crime syndicate and the destruction thereof, this is a big part of getting rid of, you know, those endless wars, right? And that's the biggest thing that Trump has talked about. Trump has specifically said we're putting an end to the endless, and so did the Q drops talk about putting an end to the endless as well. And that's a big part of this. And, you know, with Lebanon and Syria and everything else going on, you know, it's very interesting to me. And then you throw in the Abraham Accords, which I've mentioned over and over again, and the importance of those in the Middle East. And I think Iran is eventually going to be pulled into those Abraham Accords, and there's going to be an official peace deal within the Middle East at some point. Now, we also know that the military industrial complex is having an absolute freaking fit right now. Yep. You know, they're losing on every aspect, including, you know, what's the first thing Trump, you know, after he said about the Iran deal, he said, okay, we're working on Ukraine and Russia next. So, you know, again, the military industrial complex is going to be freaking out. So we know that there's going to be a potential for some type of situation, because the military industrial complex is not going to just go away and be like, all right, we're done. They're going to try to create another forever war if possible. So I think a lot of people are definitely hesitant for a good reason out there, whether or not this peace deal is actually going to, you know, stay in impact. But, you know, once Iran starts recovering their economic you know, situation and they start building back up, they're going to realize, okay, the peace through strength is going to work for our country, and it is the best chance for us to get our country back. And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of twofold. We don't trust Iran or anybody in Iran as far as the government's concerned. So it's kind of twofold. Like, we want to trust them. We want peace to, you know, to be there and all of that. But we also realize that these are deep state, like the deep state actors who have caused so much havoc across, you know, the Middle East and America and everywhere else, that we don't think they're just going to go away and be like, okay, we're out. No, it's going to be something else. But we know that Trump and the military are all over it. And not just the U.S. military, the world is watching what is happening in Iran as well. When I presented the information to the fam out there about all the ships that were in and around Iran, we had ships from multiple countries. So it's not just the United States that is trying to create peace. This is peace for, you know, for everybody out there, but mostly peace for the Iranian people, and they deserve it and they need it. And hopefully we can make Persia great again.
Yeah. Mr. Patchouli said over in my X chat, he said, Trump signed the treaty in front of all the cabal live on the how do you pronounce that? Versatile?
Versailles?
Versailles, yeah. I'm horrible at that, guys. Versailles table. He could have shit if he wanted to on the table. What a MFing Chad. That's why he walked in and said, I'm the boss.
That's right.
Seriously.
Exactly right.
Wow. You know, how many times now has Trump told us about the 1.7 billion in cash that Obama gave to Iran? He said it when he was meeting one-on-one with, well, I say one-on-one, but the press was obviously there with the various leaders. And then he said it again during his speech today. Here's a little clip on that. Here we go.
What Obama did was he did the JCPOA. He loaded up a plane with $1.7 billion in green cash from banks all over Washington, Maryland, and Virginia. They were stripped of all their cash. They had no cash to do payrolls. It all went into a Boeing 757, a wonderful plane, and they flew it to Iran. And they gave it out to people. They bribed people. They thought they were going to get it done. Then they gave billions and billions of dollars after that. And they got a deal that was a road to a nuclear weapon. I get so angry, I guess. I'm allowed to get angry when I watch the Democrats. They talk about it all the time. We had this deal done. You had a deal that was going to give them legally a nuclear weapon. And if that happened, Israel would have been blown away. And in all fairness to Bibi Netanyahu, who happens to be a good man, gets a little excited sometimes. But he happens to be a very good man. We've had an amazing partnership. He's been an amazing prime minister. We have a little dispute over Lebanon. I say, you can do a little softer touch, Bibi. You don't have to knock down a building every time somebody walks into it that's from Hezbollah. But it's been an amazing partnership. But he will say, we're the big partner and he's the very small partner, and that's true. So he came to the country and he begged Barack Hussein Obama, the president, not to do the JCPOA. He said it could be the end of Israel, and it would have been if I didn't come along. And Obama didn't listen to him. Bibi actually went to Congress and pleaded with them, and he got nowhere. And they had this horrible deal that was horrible for Israel, and that's where it stood. And then I came along and I terminated that deal. It had very little time left. You know, it was a short-term deal. You know, with countries, you need hundreds of years. You don't need 8 years and 9 years. This isn't like you're signing a lease on a candy store at the corner. You need hundreds of years. This was a short-term lease. It expired long ago. Had I let it run, it expired. You wouldn't have been around. A lot of people wouldn't have been around. But Israel would have been terminated. I think the whole Middle East would have been terminated. You saw that when everybody was shocked that all these missiles, they were aimed at these different places. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. Think of it. Bahrain, Kuwait. They got hit. Nobody thought that was, even I didn't think it was going to happen. They didn't think it was going to happen. They were going to take out the entire Middle East, including Israel. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it within moments after getting it. So I made it very tough for them when I terminated the Barack Hussein Obama catastrophe. JCPOA, one of the worst deals. NAFTA might have been worse, but that was worse economically. This deal was really dangerous, what he did.
That's good. When I streamed that on my show earlier today, we were having fun with Marco because he looked so tired and so bored. We kept saying like funny things in the chat, like he's thinking to himself, they promised me breakfast, or like he just found out he has to fly them home, like all that stuff. And Lutnick, like throughout the whole thing, was like almost like belly laughing. Like he does that all the time when Trump speaks. That guy's hilarious. But yeah, and then going back to Obama, I mean, he says that all the time. I mean, all roads. There's a lot of roads, and they all lead to Obama. Do you think we're gonna find out? Like everyone's gonna find out the truth about what he really did with Iran? I'll start with you, Josh.
Okay. I believe so. I believe that, we keep talking about the nuclear dust over and over and over and over. What is that going to lead to? That's going to trace all the way back to uranium-1, which is going to trace back to Hillary Rodham Clinton, which is going to trace back to Barack Hussein Obama. If you go back to the drops, there's 82 drops about Iran alone. We knew that Iran was going to be coming into the picture late in the game. We knew that uranium-1 is going to be coming back into the picture. The nuclear dust, he keeps saying, well, the nuclear dust is buried. So why would we be so concerned about nuclear dust that's buried deep in the ground? And he keeps saying this one thing, too. And AJP, maybe you can help me out on this. But he keeps saying, we're the only country that has the technology, well, maybe China too, that can get this dust. He keeps saying that over and over. And I've kind of racked my brain about it. I'm like, why does he keep saying China in that? So do you know why, AJP?
I don't offhand. That's very interesting. I have heard him say that. And maybe it has something to do with our military technology that we have and China has, and that enables us to be able to get rid of that. I wouldn't doubt that there's somebody in the chat listening right now that might have an answer for that as well. So if anybody knows, let us know. But that's a great point, Josh.
Yeah. And, if you noticed, he kept saying Israel over and over and over and over. And if you guys haven't figured out in the chats out there, he likes to foreshadow things. He likes to kind of tell you what's fixing to happen. And, Q drop number 916. And Anon says, whatever happened to the Pakistani guy who worked with the DNC? The president asked in the interview published by Thursday by the New York Times. A grand jury in August returned an indictment in the U.S. District Court of Columbia charging Awan and his wife Hina Alvina with total of 4 counts, which include federal bank fraud and conspiracy. Awan has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Whatever happened to them, underlined. Trump continued, with the 2 servers that broke up into a million pieces, whatever happened to him? And then the Anon says, what about Awan? Is Israel involved? And then Q responds, says, we are saving Israel for last. Very specific reason, not mentioned one single time. So does that mean possibly that maybe some servers are Iran and Israel connected? I don't know. I thought it was really weird. We were watching the America's 250. Guess who sponsored America's 250, AJP and Steve? CrowdStrike. I was like, CrowdStrike, if you don't know, was one of the companies that investigated the DNC hack. And they said, we didn't find nothing. We've investigated ourselves and we didn't find a dang thing wrong. So we're looking for these servers, but Q also said, we have the servers. We have it all already. So,
yeah. What are your? I know you kind of chimed in there a little bit, Joe. But what are your any other thoughts on that?
No, Josh. Spot on. I just want to go back a little bit with the JCPOA that got brought up today. Now, the United States actually withdrew from that on May 8th of 2018. And, Trump announced the withdrawal that day, calling the deal a horrible one-sided deal. It's just another one of those things. And he brought up NAFTA as well in that, which I thought was hilarious. That's another part of the whole situation that's garbage, just like the USMCA that is going to be redone, I think, also. But so basically this JCPOA directed the reimposition of U.S. sanctions that had been lifted under the agreement. So again, talking about Iran, Obama lifted the sanctions on Iran and implemented the JCPOA, which is the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or the Iran nuclear deal, which we've talked about the Iran nuclear deal, and I've talked about it as well. In fact, Freedom Fire, I think, even did a deep dive on the and KC has talked about that as well. I mean, lots of us have been talking about the ridiculousness of that whole situation, the Iran nuclear deal. So basically, the U.S. withdrawal, it was unilateral. The other parties that were included, Iran, UK, France, Germany, Russia, China, and the EU, they continued to support the deal at the time back in 2018 after Trump canceled it. The sanctions relief for Iran was gradually reversed by the U.S. over the following months. So again, Obama, I can't stand that dude. Just saying the name alone pisses me off. But Obama and this Iran nuclear deal all it did was benefit Iran. Trump eliminated it in 2018, and the rest of the countries kept sending money to Iran. So when you're talking about, UK, France, Germany, Russia, China, and the EU, they kept funding these forever wars while Trump was trying to get us out of it and implemented sanctions back in 2018. And we know sanctions aren't the best. They can circumvent them, but there's also secondary sanctions, and there's also sending pictures of certain people's houses and telling them to FAFO. That's Trump's other option there as well. But I also found it interesting that, where did I see it? This was like a 10-year. So termination day was October 18th of 2025. So think about that. So Trump implemented, his termination of, from the Iran nuclear deal back in 2018, but it had a 10-year or a 10-year adoption time to where that was fully withdrawn, right? But certain UN provisions were set to end. Iran announced in 2025 that it would no longer be bound by the agreement. So Iran was in this agreement. They didn't care, obviously. They just kept making proxies and forever wars. And then when the final day came, or the 10 years later came, they're like, yeah, we're no longer bound by this agreement. So the stuff and things, and again, behind the scenes, when you start to look at all of this and put it all together, it's so interesting to me, because these are literally historic times that we're living in. And to be able to see all of this happening and a possible, well, I think it is going to be inevitable. I shouldn't even say possible. The inevitability of having peace through strength throughout the Middle East is going to go down in history as one of Trump's greatest feats ever, because again, this is ending those forever wars. So it's just amazing to watch all of this happen.
Yep. What's up, Josh?
So, we're talking about the Iran deal, and I just kind of put a couple of things together that I remembered. Q Drop 194 highlights Uranium One, then goes to Canada, then goes to EU, then goes to Asia, then goes to Iran/North Korea. And then the same line, it says Iran deal. Why is this relevant? Okay, so let's piece some things together. So what day did you say termination day was on that?
October 18th of 2025.
Okay, so the Iran deal was ended in President Trump's first term. And
correct.
Yes. So shortly after that Iran deal was quote unquote nuked, guess what happened? Donald Trump set foot in North Korea for the first time.
Yeah.
Because North Korea's cash flow and North Korea's supply of uranium was cut off at that point. And that's why Q said, why is this relevant? It's how that Barack Hussein Obama funded everything over there and funded the global terrorism unit that is Iran. And that created the forever wars with North Korea, with Israel, with that whole thing going on over there. So, guys, you don't understand it. It's maybe you do, but this deal that he's fixing to sign is huge to the world. If he can do this and it stays in, which I believe it will, you're truly going to see a different world. It's going to impact the global economy for the good.
And on top of it, create global sovereignty, right? And so when in the Iran drops, it specifically says and talks about allowing or freeing the Iranian people. And so this is why I've talked about, global sovereignty for weeks and weeks on end. Like, yeah, it's great. Things are looking up and better for us in the States, but what's happening around the world is truly epic. And we are literally talking about that global sovereignty. And if you think about that, that is insane to think about, especially of the history of the United States. But again, here we are, 250 years, gentlemen. It's time to reset it all. And that's exactly what's happening right now. It's amazing.
Yep. So something big. I haven't really seen anybody talk about this, but it's a pretty big deal in my opinion. Do you guys remember former Wisconsin judge Hannah Dugan? Remember that name? So I'll just put this image up as a screenshot. Just hang on a second here. Where'd it go? So, yeah, a federal judge refused to overturn former Wisconsin judge Hannah Dugan's felony obstruction conviction for helping an illegal immigrant evade federal agents, clearing the way for sentencing.
Yeah, so this was the judge, don't forget, that literally allowed an illegal to escape her courtroom and evade ICE detainment. That's the one. I don't know if you guys remember that story or not. Sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's exactly what that. I don't know if you remember either, Steve, but that's exactly what that was about. If you remember,
I do remember that.
Yeah, and that was some shady BS. So to me, that's awesome.
So could she finally be, one of the first judges to actually see some accountability, and then you got precedent set, and then hopefully it's going to be dominoes, from that point on. We say it all the time, you can't really do much until the corrupt judges are gone, right? Because they're just they're gonna just throw the cases out one by one. I don't know. What do you think, Josh?
So Hannah Dugan is interesting because when I did my Satanism dig and we were tying a bunch of stuff back to Ukraine, there was a picture of Hannah Dugan, and guess what was on her desk? The Ukrainian symbol. So it's all connected. Every single bit of this is connected. You would think like some obscure thing like this, where she was trying to protect the illegals, it's all one big global scam.
Yep, for sure.
And symbolism will be their downfall. And that's how we trace these people, with their symbolism. I remember somebody posting a picture the other day of this guy, and they were like praising him, but he had the Ukrainian symbol all over him, and I'm like, gosh, you better watch out for that one, So, but yeah, I mean, that's Hannah Dugan is connected in with Ukraine because she's actually been photographed over in Ukraine as well, and she was on the take through all that money coming through with the Ukrainian aid, and that's how they paid her off.
Yep. And Trump said, what did he say today or yesterday? Now he's looking to move on to Russia and Ukraine and put that to an end as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Leah Gibson says, Seth, it's all connected.
Yeah, where's Seth?
It's a big part of all the infiltration, right? That's been going on. There's been multiple drops talking about how many in our House and Senate have Iranian backgrounds, how many of our House and Senate have Ukrainian backgrounds, how many of our House Senate have Muslim Brotherhood connections, right? Like, there's the infiltration that we've been talking about. I mean, China, obviously, we can't forget China has been a big part of look at Fang and Swallows. Well, I mean, they even infiltrated the Democrat Party, for God's sakes. Why, I don't know. But, it's so interesting when you look at all the infiltration that's been going on. That's all being highlighted again. And the fact that this story is being brought back up and talking about her, you're absolutely right, Steve. This sets a precedent, right? Mm-hmm. This is the precedent we need in order to get rid of the rest of this judicial coup that has been happening in our country for years and years. And that's what we're witnessing. I've been saying this for months now, and I know most people are tired of it, but the judicial coup that we have going on is a big roadblock. That's the part of the deep state swamp that we didn't know how deep it was. But we have to be able to highlight these people, these law fags is what I like to call them, that are out there and are being held accountable. This is a perfect example, and this is going to reverberate throughout every state, show precedent, and start to get rid of these judges that have been unconstitutional, is one way to put it. Some people could say treasonous fags, law fags, but whatever. Either way, they need to be held accountable, Steve, and it does set a precedent, and I love it.
Yep. Emaj25 says, they're still counting Pratt votes. So remember, like, I think it was last week, Pratt said something like Democrats aren't the only ones who. So he basically alluded to the fact like they've got votes too to count. I feel like, this is just my opinion, I feel like they're just hanging on to them until the last minute. You don't show your cards until the very last moment, and then boom, they're going to come through. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Is that? I mean, why not beat them at their own? And I'm not saying illegal votes. I'm saying legal votes, but they're just hanging on to them. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Watch
Yes.
today.
Watch California. Yep. But listen, it's the same thing. I'm sorry, Josh, if you go ahead, if you want to jump in there.
No,
but
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, the too big to rig thing, and then people were also, so why, the question is, why don't we use their playbook when we know what their playbook is?
Basically.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's straight up. Like, why aren't we doing what they are doing? California is going to break Coastal Drifter. I truly believe that. They are super over the target on multiple levels, including the waste, fraud, and abuse coming out of there as well. Spencer Pratt shining a giant spotlight on everything that's effed up with California. Central casting. Hello. The dude was on a TV show for how long? It's so interesting when you start to see all of this breaking down in real time. I love it.
Here's the thing: is Spencer Pratt said the other day on his X, he said, "Patience, patience." That's all he said was patience. And now you've got Newsom going on camera freaking out because he's getting knocks on his door. And he's basically telling everybody that I could be arrested very soon.
Him and his wife. And his wife.
Yeah,
both
exactly. So what I want to emphasize here is LA is so very important for the whole state, for the whole state of California. It's because that's where they run their hub of operations out of for the cheating mechanisms. And LA can swing an entire state to the Democrats. So if they lose LA, they will lose the entire state because Spencer Pratt will go in and he will shut down all of that nonsense. That's why they're fighting tooth and nail, and that's why they're going to such ridiculous, things that everybody can see it, but they have no choice now. Because Spencer Pratt was so central casting, he was so popular, they had to go to ridiculous measures to get this number 1 and number 2 in. And everybody can see it. And there's nothing that they can do. The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to them right now.
Yeah, Spencer Pratt, he was literally going everywhere. He was in South Central LA. He was going into like the roughest, toughest neighborhoods, and everybody was digging the stuff that he had to say because they're living life there. They see this sucks. like this guy's saying everything that this one is not doing. So, I mean, finally we got a bunch of people that are like, now they're probably pissed off about Spencer Pratt, right? They haven't really cared about the elections for how long now, but finally they got invested in somebody. And now I think, and he's acting like he's, supposedly he didn't move on, right? He didn't advance, but he sure as hell is acting like he knows he advanced.
Yeah.
So, I want to go. So, was it over the weekend? It might have been, I don't know if it was Monday or if it was over the weekend, but whoever plays Hillary Clinton was out and about again. And talking about the guy that was playing Joe Biden, saying that guy shouldn't have run a second against President Trump and blah blah blah. Well, Benny Johnson did a segment on it, and it's about 7 minutes, but it's pretty good. I think it's worth showing. So let's watch that, and then I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about it. Here we go.
Hillary Clinton is out going scorched earth on Joe Biden. Hillary Clinton is out saying Joe Biden made a terrible mistake. Now, why would she be saying this? Why is the entire Democrat Party going scorched earth against Joe Biden? Kamala Harris is now going after Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is under federal investigation. It's a cluster. Hillary Clinton saying it was a terrible mistake for Joe Biden to run. And this is in spite of the fact that Hillary Clinton constantly was hyping Joe Biden on social media. Join me in becoming part of their re-election campaign today. Joe and Kamala are the best people to run for the job. it's become clear that the November election, the most effective president of our lifetime, is Joe Biden. I'll be voting for Biden. This is Hillary Clinton hyping Joe Biden, glazing Joe Biden day and night during the 2024 election. Yet now, Hillary Clinton is going out savage mode against Joe. Here we go.
He made a terrible mistake. He made a terrible mistake for himself, his legacy, and for the country. He had said that he would not run again. And, counterfactual narratives are always a bit tricky. But I believe if he had kept to that plan and said in, say, the late summer of 23 that he wasn't going to run, that he was going to pass, the torch to the next generation, we would have had a real contest. And very sadly, I believe whoever emerged from that contest, whether it was the vice president or a governor or a senator or anybody else, would have beaten Donald Trump. So I think it was a terrible miscalculation on the part of President Biden. But once he didn't move and did not, admit that he had said he was going to step aside and then decided not to, and held on for as long as he did, we were in a terrible dilemma.
Hillary Clinton just wanted to run for president. This is my major takeaway from this, is that Hillary Clinton is just angry that she didn't get a chance, that she didn't run for president. She's still an old, bitter witch. This is the ultimate takeaway from this. And I love the back and forth. I love the backbiting. Kamala Harris is out, effectively attacking Gavin Newsom now. Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom are number 1 and number 2 in Democrat polls for 2028. I want to contribute to the savagery and to the destruction and the rubble of getting started right now on what is happening to the Democrat Party, sowing those seeds, and then of course reconstituting on our end strength and delivering for the American people. Hillary Clinton is, however, one of the world's greatest monsters, and Hillary is such a liar, and she's just lying here about Joe Biden and about the history, I guess, trying to make herself look good. I'm not exactly sure. I do know this, that if you want somebody that's really good, if you want someone really good to campaign for you, you got to go with Hillary Clinton to get moments like this.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary
Thank you, Hillary. Thank you. Thank you, Hillary. Thank you for your contributions to American campaigning. Thank you. I deeply appreciate it, Hillary. Hillary Clinton barking like a dog.
Train this dog, and the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. And then the dog was barking on the radio. And so, people were barking at each other for days after that. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. We need to get that dog and follow them around, and every time they say these things, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation. I think we could cut right through a lot of their claims.
Thank you, Hillary. Look at the faces. My favorite thing is the faces. Look at the faces of the people behind Hillary. They're thrilled. They're so excited. The excitement is palpable. You could see it, and just oozing off the Hillary Clinton supporters here. It was such an exciting campaign. Remember, the Russians had information that Hillary Clinton was collapsing physically on this campaign and could barely stay conscious, and actually did subside to unconsciousness in multiple instances. Yes, that's right. Look at the faces, just glowing, just inspirational. Been to a lot of MAGA rallies. And, man, I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful for the timeline. The timeline change. We could have done 8 years of this.
But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Okay. Who did the close-ups here? Oh, what a mess. All right. You guys give me I think she should run again. I went on Jesse Waters' show, and I regret not doing my Gavin Newsom takedown on the show. That he asked sort of like a broader question about Democrats in 2028. And so I said, why not Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden run again? They have nothing else. Like, why not have Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden just run again? This would be probably the right path for Democrats. At the very least, they'd save face. It's Kamala and Gavin are going to be night. Gavin's probably going to be in prison by 28, and Kamala Harris is drunk 24/7. So why not just go with it? Just go with what works. Okay, go with what like sort of gets you these exciting moments. Pokemon go to the polls.
But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Just run them again. You have nothing better. You have nothing better than Hillary and Joe. This is the best you're going to get. This is it. What happens next is AOC and Zorhan Mandami run. That's what happens next. And what's going to happen in between is just going to be humiliating to you.
Oh my gosh!
He brought out a lot of good oldies of that witch, and again, yeah, he was right. She was passing out all the time, right? That's what they told us happened on September 11th, 2020. Yeah, when she got thrown into the van, arms behind her back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I want to start out by something. Let's connect some dots.
Oh yeah, you said in the chat you're about to blow our minds, right? What do you got? What do you got?
Okay, so all this started with Q Drop 1834. They never thought she would lose. Now they all lose.
Yeah.
Q plus. Okay. So let's think about current world events that's going on right now. Okay. So you got Hillary Clinton freaking out about Joe Biden. All right. So now you've got Tulsi Gabbard on her way out, declassified the stuff about, just follow me, guys, I'm going somewhere with this, declassified all the stuff about Ukraine, okay? We've also got all the stuff happening about all these corrupt elections right now. Q drop 4959. What groups are financing Ukraine? What groups are why are they financing Ukraine? Was Hunter in Ukraine? Hunter is out in front of the public right now, people. He's trying to make himself look like a good guy right now. Okay? Why was Hunter in Ukraine? What did Pop threaten to withhold from Ukraine? $1 billion? Who benefits? What did Pop receive in return? Why is Hunter not in jail? Think. Blackmail. Bribes, extortions, threats. How do you control a leader? How do you control a country? Are you ready to take back control? Your vote matters. You have all the tools you need. Q. So if now President Trump is saying, we're ready for Ukraine to come back to the table, and we've got declassified material out about Ukraine now, okay? Q's telling you in the same drop about Ukraine, your vote matters. You have all the tools you need. Are you ready to take back control? Q drop 4960, the very next drop. Why do some elections take more than a day to count? Can cheating be done after the polls are closed? Who controls the poll books? Who controls the databases? Who controls the elections? Why are extra ballots printed? If someone doesn't vote, can bad actors hijack their vote? What did we have happen over in LA? They were taking all these people that were on the voter rolls and taking them out to these homeless people and telling them to vote under their name and giving them money. Okay. Why does the National Guard activate cybersecurity systems? Who gave the order to activate the cybersecurity systems? Why? To protect the elections? Question mark. To claim the midterms are safe. Safe from what? Setting the stage. Watch carefully. White hats have secured many systems, but problems still remain. You have the tools that you need. Vote Q. So with all this going on right now, Hillary Clinton's freaking out about Joe Biden. Whatever happened over in Ukraine with Joe Biden, Hunter Biden is out in front of the public right now, trying to make himself look good right now. Hunter Biden, has he cut a deal? I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. But I do know that you don't just leave your laptop sitting somewhere with all the incriminating evidence against Pop and the family for nothing. Okay. I think that once Ukraine falls, we're going to see we have the server. We're going to see CrowdStrike come back in. We're going to see the DNC hack come back in. We're going to see Joe Biden come back into the picture about all the corruption that's happened over there in Ukraine. Ukraine was so central in all of the election fraud, in the COVID-19, in the child sex trafficking. It is a huge, huge hub for the deep state. And once that thing gets taken out for good and they finally submit and they turn everything over to President Trump, that's why Hillary Clinton is flipping her lid right now. That's just my opinion.
Excellent opinion. Good stuff. Hey, before I go to you, Joe, I don't even know what I was thinking. I said Hillary was arrested in 2020 or thrown in the bed. It was 2016.
16.
Yeah. Thank you. I think it was Delia that said that in the chat. And I should know that I've put out so many videos on that. It's not even funny. I'm tired. So I apologize. Anywho, what do you got, Joe?
No, Josh, you're right. Remember the other drop, 2885, that talked about they never thought crooked Hillary would lose. So many disastrous mistakes made. And what is it all about? Returning the power back to we the people. That's what this is all about, right? It literally is on so many levels. The destruction of the old guard includes the Democrat Party. When we start talking about all roads, these roads and these spider webs, they lead everywhere, and it is all connected. And so that's why these stories are so interesting. When you start talking about Russia, the coup that was put against Trump, Arctic frost, and all of these other stuff and things that was happening back in 2016. Think that Trump is just going to forget about all that? You think that he's just going to forget about how they came after his family, how they came after him? No, he's not going to just forget about it. What this is watching the panic in DC, right? We are literally witnessing the destruction of the old guard. The panic is in DC, and I'm here for it. I love watching this. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. They're still dragging Biden around here and there and having him speak and stuff. I mean, we played that clip a couple of days ago. It was freaking hilarious. Like you could take that old robot clip, Steve, of the robot walking and put Biden next to it, and they line up like we did it on our show. Like you can literally see that they are all out of moves. But if they do move, believe you me, Trump is ready for the counter move. And that's what we've been witnessing a lot too, is the moves and counter moves happening, witnessing the destruction of the old guard. It's just all so amazing to watch. But, I truly believe that with the 250th coming up, that it is all about us returning back the power to we the people when we the people did have power, 250 years ago. And we know it changed shortly after that. But, I think it's so it's so epic when you really think it's biblical is what it is. When you really think about everything that's going on right now. In fact, Dana White was talking about how, the White House event was even biblical. He was on what's his name show, McAfee or whatever, not McAfee.
I played that video on my show earlier, where he talks about how the storm was split in two. It went all the way around the White House, and he had the Art of the Deal on the wall behind him. That was just, I was like, what is he talking about? He's talking about the storm and splitting into two and going around the White House. Something about that was,
well, yeah, dude, that whole thing, because remember, Dana also talked about how he had military weathermen that were watching out for the weather at that time. So it tells me that, and I've said this before, that I believe that weather manipulation could be used for good as well. And here is a perfect example, in my opinion, of what happened that night. Something happened that night to where, call it Moses, if you will, split the Red Sea or whatever. Like it split that weather pattern right to go around, the White House. There's so much more stuff and things that we don't know. The 80-20 rule. That's what makes it so interesting. If we're really only, thinking about and seeing 20%, imagine what the other 80% that's going on. It's so freaking amazing, but it is biblical,
Let's be real. The good guys can manipulate the weather too.
I truly believe that, Steve. I truly believe that, and I think they're trying, here in the Midwest, man, we had some close calls, a couple days ago. I had a tornado hit 15 miles from me. God bless those in that area. Nobody died. There was houses wiped out. Like nobody died. And so I feel like finally the turns are tiding. The tide is turning, even when it comes to the weather manipulations that have been happening to us, and starting to finally get rid of all that as well. Like, just another one of those things that the administration is dealing with. Like, just think about that, y'all. He is literally dealing with so much every single day and accomplishing so much as well. But there is so much we still don't know. But watching, Dana White talk about how this is biblical, everything that's going on right now is truly biblical, and it is an amazing time to be alive.
Did you have anything on that, Josh?
Military planning at its finest.
Amen, brother.
Yes, sir. I think it might have been Karen Holcomb. I'm not sure. I think it was you, Karen, earlier in the chat. If it wasn't you, let me know who it was. Asked if anybody had updates on Georgia, in Georgia on the elections. Didn't Trump's governor pick win?
Yeah, there's two of them. I thought two different people that won in Georgia. I can't remember off the top of my head though.
I feel like that was. I feel like that's a big deal. And I don't know much about that. I can't remember who was running for governor. And then who's the current guy? Is it Kemp? Is it Brian Kemp?
Yeah.
He was like trying to do something with like redistricting or something, and got the hammer got put down on him.
So U.S. Senator Mike Collins defeated Derek Dooley.
I knew that.
So that was the U.S. Senate. Governor Rick Jackson defeated Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. So those were the things and stuff that happened just back on the 16th, yesterday. In fact, that was. So that definitely interesting. So two more Trump picks, I believe, got through there is the key.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, AJP, dude, you are right on the money. And I believe that once the midterms happen, it's freaking go time.
For sure.
And we're going to, what do you want for Christmas? We want justice. You remember that one?
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think, guys, I really think that this is going to be the hot summer. It's going to be the summer of disclosure. We're going to have a red October. I believe every October has been red, but now this is going to be the big one. We're going to have the big October surprises out right before the elections. And then in November, December, it's going to be balls to the wall.
Tense 15 said Jackson won and wasn't Trump's pick. Trump backed Burt Jones. I don't know. We'll see. I've been. This happens too often. I don't want to rush the summer. Here in New York, I don't want to rush the summer. But it's like I want to get to the fall, but I don't want to rush the summer. Then again, the summers always go by too fast. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones was the one who was backed by Trump and Rick Jackson. Correct. Okay, you're right. Thank you for that. I said that those two got through, and those are both Trump. But
Trump did back Burt Jones. Then
he did, and Burt Jones lost. Right.
Oh, he lost. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
To Rick Jackson. Yep.
Gotcha. Hey, I wanted to play this before. I totally skipped over it. So I think we're in agreement. If we talk about the things that have been fake for the past many years, that Afghanistan withdrawal, fake. I'm saying fake AF. I've seen too much on that. People were running by the plane where the humongous jets where they would have been like eaten up in the jets, and there's not. I mean, it was like an inflatable. I think. But anyway, President Trump said during his speech today that he might soon get back all of the U.S. military equipment abandoned by Biden in Afghanistan. I find that pretty interesting. It's like a 24-second clip. Let's watch this real quick.
I was even taking the tents down. But then they got in and they just left. They left all the equipment. I may get all that equipment back. Now, here's the thing. More symbolic, because it's a little old now. But we may get it all back.
So
Afghanistan is kissing our ass. You know that?
So you're threatening to bomb Iran if they don't comply, but there's nothing enforceable.
How's he going to get all that equipment back?
Well, you know,
if it's all been in the hands of the enemy all these years.
I operate in reality. So I think that there's going to be a deal cut, over there in Afghanistan, that they're going to say, okay, we submit. We're going to give you all your shit back. And here you go. I also find it interesting that he's talking about this when he just invoked the Defense Production Act today, too, to retool from the Iran conflict. So I just kind of thought that was a little interesting there. I didn't know if you knew that or not, Steve.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Whenever you're not nodding your head up and down, Joe, like you normally when I'm saying something you agree with, like every time you're like, I'm like, ooh, cool. AJP likes what I'm saying. Cool.
Yeah.
When you're just like, I don't know what you think.
That's me shaking my head looking for more thoughts because you're saying what I want to be saying as well.
All right.
You guys are freaking spot on. Absolutely spot on. Yeah, I mean, Afghanistan, a huge part of the forever wars, right? And, him throwing that out there, he says things for a reason. He didn't just say that just as a flyby, comment, or maybe he was asked specifically a question about that. Fine, but still, he definitely says things for a reason, and that's why I love the president. Like, you literally do have to listen to everything he says, and everything he says has meaning. But yeah, the whole Afghanistan withdrawal, I don't know, Steve, I'm kind of like, 50-50 with you there, man. I don't know if it was real or not or fake, but, Trump has talked about it quite a bit. He even talked about the airplane specifically that flew off with people attached to the tail and stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, so is he saying it just so we look into it more? Is he saying it because it wasn't real? That's the discernment part that we have to figure out. But, regardless of that, Afghanistan has been a major hub for the military industrial complex. And, that has all been destroyed as well, which is why it got down to the proxies down there in Iran. But, I just think that this whole peace through strength, the military readiness within, a year and a half of Trump, getting back in office, if you want to say that, and having them ready for all of these operations that need to happen And, creating that peace through strength thing is amazing for our military, our veterans, the people out there who have been wanting to get our military back to greatness again after, 6 years of Obama trying to destroy it and Biden as well, another 4 years. Like, they literally were trying to destroy our military. So when I'm watching these operations, like, when I heard the B-52 the B-2 bomber that left Missouri to go take out Iran in their nuclear capacities, like, could that not be any more American military might, like, witnessing that? No, wait, there's more. We took out the leader in Venezuela, like, snatched him right out of there. What's going on in the rest of these countries as well. It's so amazing to watch. It really is. And, I kind of feel bad for some of the people that might be black-pilled out there, honestly, because they're missing out on so much good stuff and things that's happening and witnessing and being a part of and talking about it every day. It's just amazing, man.
Steve, this is going to be the one and only time I probably defend you on the fake stuff.
That's a great point.
You know how I operate. I don't like to talk about that kind of stuff.
I know.
But
listen, I stay in the signal too, but we all agree. Like we always say, not everything is fake and gay, but some stuff has been fake. We all agree Biden was fake, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if you look at that Afghanistan withdrawal, there is it's oozing fakeness. Like, it's so fake, it's not even funny.
So let me talk about that just 1 second. So we realize that Joe Biden wasn't in control of the military. I don't believe during his presidency. I think that's what kept us out of World War III. I don't know. You know, so it was a military withdrawal from Afghanistan. So if we still had control of the military, was that thing staged? I don't know, but it kind of looks like it. I don't know for sure, but it kind of looks like it. It kind of looks like the Ghost Army of 1942, with all the inflatables, like you said, Steve. I mean, playbook known. I mean, it goes both ways. We reuse the playbook sometimes too.
Hey, Paulie9363, thank you so much for gifting the fleet over on Pill. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
What's a fleet?
I'm still learning. What's a fleet, Jay?
It's basically $32 donation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Pilled is very, like, again, you've been on Pilled for years, so it's taken me a long time to like. In the beginning, I was like, "What is a can?" Somebody's sending me a can. Somebody sent me sunglasses, like shades. What is going on?
It's fun.
It's just something different, and that's just, that's what's kind of cool about Pilled as well. They do things a little bit differently, and it's, I've been part of it since before they even actually dropped as an official website. I was part of the very beginning of it. That's why it was the only place I actually streamed to for the longest time, but added in, Rumble and stuff kind of late. But it's a cool platform, but it definitely takes time to build up, and it takes time to get used to it, because it's not only a streaming site, it's a social media app as well. So it's a lot, it's a lot, but it's still cool. If you guys haven't checked it out, go over and check it out.
So I want to go over something that anytime it's talked about on any of my shows, probably in your shows too, there's certain people that get very triggered because they're convinced that this is a bad thing. I don't know too much about it, honestly, but I know you do, Josh, and I'm pretty sure you do as well, Joe. So I want to play Julie Donut's latest donut drop. All right. Julie says the data centers are not the enemy. Surrendering the future is. Here is Julie Donuts.
Welcome to Donut Drops with Julie. Today I'm going to read an amazing article by Tracie Taylor, Tracie Taylor on X. This video is brought to you by the amazing JMC Broadcasting. I was going to write a whole article about AI centers, but Tracy did a great job. So I'm going to go ahead and read what she had written, and it is amazing. So check this out. So why are data centers suddenly the villain? So lately you would think data centers are some sort of dangerous new invention that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The outrage right now is everywhere. So they use, people say they use too much electricity, they use too much water, they're destroying communities. Really? Why is this suddenly the newest outrage now? Data centers and large-scale computing infrastructure have been around since the 1940s. That's over 80 years. Americans' banking system runs on them. National defense, air traffic control, hospitals, financial markets all run on them. The internet itself runs on them. So why all of a sudden panic? Because now we're talking about artificial intelligence. Now we're talking about the next technological revolution. Now we're talking about trillions of dollars, national security, and global dominance. And suddenly, data centers are the villain. Let's be honest about what this really is. This is not about buildings full of servers, guys. This is about whether America intends to lead the future or surrender it. Modern AI requires massive computing power, advanced chips, advanced networking, reliable electricity, enormous compilation structures. And yes, data centers. Without them, there's no serious AI development. None. So meanwhile, China is not slowing down. China's not debating whether it should pump the brakes. China understands exactly what artificial intelligence represents. It represents economic power, military advantage, cyber dominance, industrial leadership, national security, global influence. China knows whoever dominates AI could help shape the future, global economy, and the future balance of power. And while China aggressively races forward, many Americans are suddenly being told that the infrastructure required to compete is dangerous and irresponsible or unacceptable. Why now? That is the question worth asking. Because China would love nothing more than for the United States to voluntarily handicap itself while they accelerate towards dominance. Whether Americans realize it or not, information warfare is very real. Narratives matter. Public pressure matters. Fear campaigns matter. Our adversaries understand that. And if you can convince population to oppose the very infrastructure required to compete, you've already gained an advantage. Now let's talk about electricity. One of the loudest complaints that the AI data centers requires is that it's too much power. Everyone's saying that. This is why President Trump pushed policies supporting dedicated energy infrastructure for major AI expansion. The answer was to never cripple American innovation. The answer was to build the infrastructure to support it. Dedicated power capability, more generation, more resilience, more capacity, more independence. If these facilities require enormous energy, then America should produce enormous energy. That is what builders do. And let's address the water argument. You would think some people believe that every new data center is draining the lakes dry. The reality is far more nuanced than that. Technology does evolve and infrastructure evolves. Many newer facilities are using advanced cooling technologies, improved thermal management, closed-loop systems, and designs aimed at dramatically reducing traditional water dependence. Some modern systems use surprisingly small water footprints compared to what critics imagine. We're not talking about endless rivers pouring through warehouses. We're talking about evolving technology. And here's the other uncomfortable truth some people may not want to hear. If you are afraid of artificial intelligence, I really don't know what to tell you, because the genie is not going back into that bottle. AI is coming, and it is already here. There's no global pause button. There's no magical scenario where America simply opts out and the rest of the world politely follows. China certainly won't. So the smartest path forward is not pretending AI can be stopped. The smartest path forward is leading it, building it, competing in it, and controlling it responsibly. Because if America loses this race, we're not just talking about bruised national pride. We could be talking about losing technological leadership, losing industries, losing investment, losing jobs, losing strategic leverage, losing influence over the technologies that may define the next century. Artificial intelligence may become the next industrial revolution. And if America leads, the upside could be enormous. Trillions in investment, high-paying jobs, engineering growth, semiconductor manufacturing, energy expansion, innovation, global companies investing in America instead of somewhere else. Opportunity for the American workers, opportunity for American communities. China is building towards that future. America should be too. Data centers are not the enemy. They are becoming part of the infrastructure of the future. The real question is not why America is building them. The real question is whether America can afford not to. America did not become a global leader by shrinking from innovation. We led by building. We led by competing. We led by refusing to surrender the future. This is our latest industrial revolution. We built railroads, factories, power plants, highways, the space program, the internet. We build, and we should do it again. Thanks for listening. God bless America. God bless this amazing president and this administration.
Yeah, it's funny. So I love Julie's donut drops, and I trust her. So a lot of times I don't even watch them. Like, I'm watching it for the first time. So I didn't even know she was going to read Tracy's article.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that.
So shout out to Tracy Taylor as well.
Yeah, and that got read on that, what is it, JMC Broadcasting? Is that? Yeah, and he's huge over like on Facebook and all those other places. So, yeah, she wrote an incredible article, and we did a whole episode on data centers on Tracing Justice. Joe, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
No, go ahead, brother.
All right, dude, I'm going to be just a minute. Okay, so let's think about infrastructure first. You know, we want to have all these cars and everything. We got to have the infrastructure for it. You know, so we have highways everywhere. Okay, so we want to have all these cool cell phones. You know, we got to have the infrastructure for it. We've got to have cell phone towers. Okay, so you guys want AI. You want all this cool stuff and this computing stuff. And a lot of our military runs on AI now. And what powers this AI push? Data centers. So if we don't have data centers, we don't have the infrastructure in our country to lead in AI. And just like Tracy said, the AI genie is out of the bottle, guys. I know China works with us, but they're still going to be in competition with us in the global scale, in the economy. And if we don't lead the world in AI, you might as well shut the doors on the United States of America, because that is what's coming. You know, everybody was afraid of cell phones when they first come out, and now everybody's got one. And AI is the same thing, but you have to take control of something in order to regulate it. Everybody's always like, oh my God, AI is everywhere. You know, and it's just one of these things that if we don't get control of it now, then we don't succeed. And let's talk about all this propaganda going on about these data centers. Oh my God, the Rio Grande is drying up. You know, no, I'm sorry. That is not because of a data center. What happened to the chat?
Which one?
Your chat. Your on-screen chat.
No, it was on Pilled.
Yeah, Prairie Fire's cat, I'm guessing. He probably stepped away and his cat
I was like,
probably stepped on the phone or whatever.
That's hilarious.
Or he's trolling.
But anyways, you know, what the crap is that?
Seriously? Come on now.
Well, anyways, so, well, God, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So all the propaganda going on about all these data centers using all this water, ladies and gentlemen, most of these data centers that already exist use what they call a closed loop system. which means that once they get initially filled, that water gets reused over and over and over. It does not draw from the public reservoirs, okay? And the new data centers that's coming out, you can fill them and use 1.5 liters of water a day to cool an entire data center by air cooling. Okay, so now we also want to connect a couple of things. Everybody's like, oh my God, they're putting them on farmland. I can't believe this. Executive Order 13818, Executive Order 13848. Who is the largest owner of farmland in America? Spoiler alert, Bill Gates. And also, President Trump just signed an executive order on data centers last year saying, hey, we're going to use government land for data centers first and foremost. And everybody that's coming at me saying, oh, well, they're taking land and everything. I have done research and I've asked people that have told me that, provide me some proof of that. And it's all proposals. Nothing has actually ever happened yet. Anybody can make a proposal. So the long story short of it is, if we're going to succeed as a country, if we're going to have military superiority in the drone warfare and in the DO weapons, we have to have data centers, ladies and gentlemen, because if we don't, there's an active push out there to get you to dislike data centers for a reason. And it's by foreign powers. And where's all this stuff coming from? The influencers that we know that are bad news that accept foreign money from other governments.
You explained that really well. It all makes sense. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about the data centers quite a bit. I've done a deep dive on it, played videos about them. I've talked about them for a couple of weeks, and it's very important because of, like Josh is explaining, the only thing you missed was the executive order about the data centers that Trump implemented it as well to fast track those data centers. Yep. We also know that, and I read two articles last week, one about New York trying to stop the data centers, which we talked about that. And again, no offense to Steve, because he lives in New York, but there's a lot of idiots in New York. And you're not one of them. Absolutely not. But there are a lot of idiots out there. And so they're trying to stop the data center up there in New York. They're also been highlighted in Michigan how there is some deep pockets of the deep state that is trying to build these data centers as well and pocket money also. So which reverts again back to what Josh said about the 13818. Again, all of this stuff and things that's happening, the closed loop system. We talked about the data centers with Doc when we had Doc Chambers on as well. And I was like, this is kind of a distraction if you ask me, because it's happening, whether we like it or not. It's the data centers are going to be built. The key is watching who's building them and, who is financing them and who is a part of them. Again, making sure that we do our own research. We also talked about the importance of having AI and those data centers here in the States, right? Elon has talked about this, years ago about AI and how there's nothing we're going to be able to do to stop it unless we have government control, which is why Trump is making all of these companies and all invest here in the States, is because we need to put government controls. As much as I am all about small government, this is something that is very important for the future that needs to have government oversight. And so, when I started seeing, people sending me videos about, these data centers and there's walls up and what about the water and blah, blah, blah. Well, of course, I started doing the research, and the more I looked into it, the more I've come to realize that these data centers are maybe bigger than anybody could possibly realize, because even now Elon Musk is talking about putting data centers up in space as well, which tells you that this could be part of the beginning of the Golden Dome, maybe. Which is also interesting if you start thinking about it. Thumper Rose, a Golden Dome and flying cars. Here comes the Jetsons. Exactly, Thumper Rose. That's exactly what we've been talking about. So I mean, it's just so interesting. And, you know, like I said, when you see the fear porn being put out there about, you know, states are going to lose their water and, you know, they're going to take energy and the public is going to be, you know, the taxes are going to go up and all of this stuff. Yeah, they're huge buildings, but we absolutely need them and we have to have them. And if this is part of the Golden Dome and being able to protect the United States and the Western Hemisphere on top of it, let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, we are getting into, you know, an amazing race with the Golden Dome, and more is going to be coming out of that, and flying cars and everything else. I mean, dude, like the future is going to be unbelievable. And so this is what Trump is setting us up for the future, also being ahead of China and the rest of these countries trying to implement this as well. It's amazing. So yes, make sure you stay away from the fear porn when it comes to, you know, about these data centers. I had two people in my chats, one guy that was working in the electrical part of these data centers and another one who was working on the cooling part of these data centers, and both of them were you know, which is that amazing. Think about that. We had two people in the chats while we were talking about data centers working at these data centers 12-hour days making big bucks, and there's people out there knocking these data centers at the same time, but yet I got people in my chats right now who are striving big time working at these data centers and making good big money to help build these. And so, you know, think about it all, research for yourself, but understand this isn't going to stop. Trump implemented that executive order for a reason, to fast track these data centers, and it's all going to be tied in to something amazing for our future. Go ahead, Josh.
For everybody out there in the chats and watching on replay, and you're like, flying cars, what? Go look up Agenda 47 on Freedom Cities. Trump said that vertical takeoff vehicles will be our future.
Yep.
It's coming, and we're going to need data centers to do it.
Yep. No, he has definitely said that more than once. So speaking about New York, JD Vance was in New York today. I think he was in Long Island, and I forget where he was. Is she home?
Yeah, I told her, I'm like, come here. Show everybody the hat.
Come on, Tracy.
Yeah,
come on,
Tracy.
Wants to see. Come on the show. There she is.
Hey, what's up, Tracy? Good to see ya.
I just got home. Y'all doing okay?
Look at the Truth or Media hat.
We're doing okay.
Cute? I'm
it's
so
fancy.
Pleased. Yes.
Oh, you
it's
got it. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It just came in today. I just saw it on the counter when I walked in.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Love it.
I got to tell you, I ordered some merch from the Truth Media store, and I can't believe how fast it got shipped out.
I know. It's fast. It is fast. Yeah.
It's fast,
I like
friends.
that. Yep. Yep, for sure. Well,
hey, guess what? Guess what, Tracy?
what?
So I didn't even know. So Julie does these donut drops every week, and I didn't even know. And the one that I played tonight, you read your article on data centers.
Really?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
I might be smart
I
after all.
didn't watch it. I just grabbed it because I knew it'd be good. And all of a sudden, she's like, and I'm gonna read Tracy Taylor. I'm like, what?
Send it to me.
How perfect.
Okay.
All right, I'll send it to you.
Show them the bottom of your hat too.
Well, here.
Yeah, show us, Tracy.
It's like I have to take it off. But it's like leopard and stuff. It's cute.
Nice.
All right, I'm out, y'all.
Peace out.
Peace out.
My girl.
Peace out.
Gonna go.
Sir Lurks a lot. Thank you so much for gifting the shades. Appreciate that.
Got a feeling Tracy's gonna go get her sweet tea right now. Pour herself a cup of sweet tea right now.
I'm gonna go drink my sweet tea.
I'll be right back.
I'm fixing some sweet tea.
Fixing
her some sweet tea.
I'm fixing. Anywho,
it's even more funny trying to listen to Steve do a Southern accent. But anyways, he sounds like Forrest Gump. He does not sound like he's Southern.
I think I'm kind of doing. I think I am purposely doing that.
Oh, you're purposely doing the Gump thing.
I feel like I am. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I may not be a smart man, Jen A.
That's all I got to say about that.
Hey, Seth Larrabee, what's going on, brother? So anyway, JD, he was in Long Island, and he says Democrats are anti everything that is good, anti-Semitic, anti-Christian, anti-white, and this is kind of a good clip. Let's give it a watch. Here we go.
Who listens to the Democrat Party bosses as that party has just become anti everything that is good. They're anti women playing in women's sports. They want men to play in women's sports, the craziest thing. They become anti-Semitic in the Democratic Party. They become anti-Christian in the Democratic Party. They become anti-white in the Democratic Party. And what I love about the Republican Party is whether you're black or white, whether you're a Jew, a Christian, or a person of no faith, the thing about the Republican Party is that if you work hard, you play by the rules, and you love this country, you are welcome on our team. That's not Swazi, but it's the people in this room.
So it's true. We are the party of we're the inclusive party.
Mm-hmm. It's like totally flipped, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Democrat Party, man, they are just they really truly are pure evil right now.
Let's see here. Let me look up a drop.
You know how like Q always talks about the end of the D Party, the end of the Democrat Party. Do you guys think that it'll eventually, like, there will no longer be a Democrat Party, it'll be renamed something, or do you think the end of the D Party kind of just means the end of the way it is now, and it'll kind of be rebuilt from within, but still be known as the Democrat Party? What do you guys think?
I think that the Democrat Party will cease to exist. Q drop 4152, and this is relevant right now because this is what we are living through right now. All assets have been deployed. When, by any means necessary, what are we seeing in Los Angeles right now? D Party death spiral. Q. And another one, 4539. It says DOD whistleblower incoming, shift investigation hearing coming. When, by any means necessary, all assets deployed, live or die. D Party puppet master string pullers death spiral. Q.
Yep.
That's what you're seeing right now.
Yep. I mean, you truly believe it won't even be called the Democrat Party anymore?
I think there might be a small Democrat Party, but nobody will ever vote for him anymore, especially when crimes against humanity comes out.
I was going to say that once certain truths come out, it's going to be hard to ever get rid of that stigma, if you want to call it that. Hey, Dixie, thank you so much for gifting the shades.
The future is so bright. Gotta wear shades.
Real patriot Gump Steve.
Who said that?
Bibbs over and Pilled.
Biblical Smackdown.
Oh, nice. Oh God! Now I got to have Chickaboo somehow make a Forrest Gump real AF emote.
Oh my gosh!
The problem with those is it's like they look great, but then like they're so small when you actually like upload them into Rumble, it's like hard to see them.
Yeah.
But anyway, what are your thoughts, Joe, as far as the end of the Democrat Party? Do you think it actually means like just the party as we know it is going to be no longer, or do you think it's not even going to exist as far as name, like not even be named the Democrat Party?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I think we could get rid of the Democrat and the Republican Party. Just get rid of them both. I mean, let's be honest. We don't really need parties, do we? No. What we need is people who are true, and whatever they say, what they run on is what we should go by, or doing our research and discernment on what they're saying and making sure they're telling the truth. I just feel like the two-party system has been part of the division all along with the people in the United States. So shouldn't we just get rid of it altogether? Like, get rid of Republican, get rid of Democrat. You run on the person and what they are saying. So I don't know. Like, I've been thinking about this recently, actually. So it's funny that you had brought this up yesterday. I was actually thinking about this. So when we talk about the destruction of the Democrat Party, what that really is talking about, in my opinion, is that the original Democrat Party, like the JFK Democrat Party, like that whole thing has been completely destroyed. And, when I was at my chiropractor, I'm going to tell more of the story later on, so I won't tell the whole story, but I was at my chiropractor. I walked in with my 1776 and red, white, and blue, and the whole 9 yards, and and he kind of did me, looked me up and down and kind of looked at me and said, "What do you do for a living?" And I was like, "I don't know if I want to say." I say, "Oh, straight up, you guys know how I am. Like, I am straight up, like I am who I am." And I was like, "I don't know if I want to say," and so he said, "Oh, okay, well, and he kind of was, and I was like, "Well, I'm a political commentary, I do political commentary." He's like, "You do?" And so it created a conversation there where where literally he asked me, "Well, where do you fit as far as the party lines?" Like, and there's the problem in itself. Yep. I don't really fit along the party lines. What I fit with is as a constitutional conservative, and that's what I told him. I'm a constitutionalist. I truly believe that the original Constitution is the solution. And his question, what he threw back right at me was, well, do you think they really had in mind the future, when they signed, the Declaration of Independence and all of that? And so it creates another conversation about, what has happened with the Constitution over this last how many ever years, right? It's been perverted. We know that the Constitution has been perverted. It's also been completely destroyed and walked all over. So yes, we need to get back to the original Constitution. The Constitution is the solution to our problems, as long as we have judicial people who are actually, and lawyers and stuff that are following it, right? So like, I don't really fit with the, the rhinos either. I don't fit with the libertarians. I fit with the Constitution. And that's what I told the guy. And he was kind of blown away. He's like, "You and I are going to have some good discussions." And I said, "Well, where do you fit in the party lines?" He's like, "Well, I'm more of a libertarian." And then the conversation got a little interesting because I was like, "Oh, libertarian. I can, okay." And I'll tell more stories later on my show about this situation, this encounter that I had. But that is my assessment, is that the two-party system was put to pin people against each other. And if people actually ran on what they said and did what they said, promises made, promises kept, like Trump, we wouldn't need Republican and Democrats. We would just need people to run on their platforms, and that's it. That's my answer.
I like how you did that. You kind of gave a cliffhanger. So now people are going to be like, "Oh my, we got to go watch AJP because I got to know more about that story."
Tune in tonight at 11 p.m. for AJP Army.
I've been doing this a little while, guys. I'm trying to get people to stay there and want to watch and listen. No, I mean, it's an interesting story. Like, I didn't know how it was going to go. And in fact, I thought about it prior to when I went to go see this guy. Is like, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to lie to him, and be like, "No, I do construction"? Because I mean, technically I do construction and all kinds of other things and stuff too behind the scenes, landscaping, taking care of my mother-in-law, like walking dog. I do a ton of jobs actually, but I didn't want to lie to him, so I told him straight up, like I do political commentary, and when I brought up Tulsi, he kind of got the face, and he didn't like Tulsi. And I was like, well, what was interesting about liberals is that they were always about small government. You know how many people Tulsi Gabbard got rid of in the first year that she was ODNI? 40 to 50% of the ODNI, saving us $700 million a year. And that was the last thing I said to him as I walked out the door and gave him something to think about. That's all we can do is drop those red pills, man.
That's right. That's how you do it too.
You know what else I was thinking when we were talking about not having two political parties. I also feel like there's too many districts. What do you guys think? You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seems like it's too many.
It's confusing, right? To tell you the truth.
The lines don't make sense, It's like, what? It's like you got this little bitty district, and I'm sure it's a big city, but then you've got this huge district, and it's like, what's up with that? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not fair how one city or one, like, Maricopa County, how one county can just completely change the entire outcome. That's just like the big cities in every state: LA, Philadelphia, New York. I mean,
this is why the redistricting fight has been so huge on so many levels, and the Supreme Court ruling as well. Like, that's another huge step in reversing the Democrat stronghold control over these, municipalities all over the place. It's just another part of the destruction of the old guard, Steve. That's a great point that you brought up.
So I want to play, this will be the last thing we're going to go over. I'm going to play the latest Promethean action video.
Awesome. I haven't watched this yet.
It's Susan. She's my favorite. They're all good, but I like Susan. It's her latest clip on what's going on in Iran. So we'll play that, talk about it, and then we will wrap it up. So I do got to take the chat off because I got to share it.
Seth, good to see you out there. Yeet Force, good to see you out there also. Seth, we need more people who follow Jesus. That's what this awakening is, man. This is the great God awakening. That's what's happening all over the place. You can truly see it and feel it on many levels. Also, Freedom Fire, good to see you out there.
Richard, the media fam.
Yep.
All right. We all ready?
Yep.
Let's roll.
Here we go.
Before the G7 summit in Avian, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney flew to Ireland, and he warned what was coming. He said that countries
are navigating a global rupture, not a quiet transition. The post-Cold War world of rules-based order is breaking down.
Carney had no idea how right he was. And at the summit, Donald Trump demonstrated it with this stunning comment about Israel and Syria.
And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it. I didn't like where 2 hours before we're signing the agreement that there was an attack in Lebanon, in Beirut. I did not like that. I let them know that. I didn't like it, not at all. But I think that Syria, he's pulled that country together amazingly quickly. He's very capable, and he's been very good for me. And if Israel can't do the job without killing everyone else, he'll do the job. Syria will do the job.
So, in what world does the President of the United States push aside Israel and suggest that the Syrian president, who had been the leader of an al-Qaeda-affiliated group, step in? Not in the world that Carney is mourning. It's a new world. And this week, it arrived with Donald Trump at the G7. I'm Susan Kokinda, and I've been fighting to create this new world since 1971. So if you want to be part of this, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons and stay in touch. Today, I'm going to talk about how this plays out in 3 ways. First, how Trump closed a deal with Iran after previous presidents failed for 47 years. Second, what he really meant by his remarks about Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. And third, why both of those events have Mark Carney and friends a lot more frightened than they're letting on. So, in terms of the Iran deal, all of the empire's American outlets, whether the mainstream press or the social media universe, they want you to think that the Iran deal is another taco moment. Trump always chickens out. So the New York Times editorial board intoned, "President Trump lost this war." And NATO's think tank, the Atlantic Council, declared, "Trump celebrates while America capitulates." Now, hold that in your mind for a moment, because these institutions are not dumb. They're deliberately covering up the real target, because it wasn't only the IRGC or the Ayatollah's government. The target was much bigger. It was how Iran's terrorist capabilities and threats to close the Strait of Hormuz have been part of the empire's business model for half a century. White House Trade Counselor Peter Navarro has a really good name for it. He calls it the terror premium on oil, the de facto tax that every nation on earth pays whenever the strait is threatened, and that premium flows through London clearinghouses and Lloyd's of London insurance certificates. Breaking that up was Donald Trump's goal, topped only by the urgency of preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon. But how do you break up that business model? You turn assets that have been tools of empire into something else, not through chaotic regime change, but by creating a dynamic where forces can arise that might actually represent their nation's interests, like we did in Venezuela. And this is what J.D. Vance meant when he said this.
Fundamentally, we're dealing with everybody in the Iranian system. You know, there's the IRGC, the sort of regime hardliners, the military side. There's the political leadership, and within the political leadership, you have people who are more hardline and less hardline. We expect to have a full spectrum of representatives at the negotiation on Friday. Again, we've been talking to these people, sometimes indirectly, but sometimes directly, and that's what's fundamentally changed under the president's leadership. We are now speaking directly to the Iranian system.
That is not Lindsey Graham's regime change. And Donald Trump made that very clear in an aside at the G7 summit.
What do you say to Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham, who is skeptical of the MOU?
Lindsey is skeptical?
Yes.
I'll have to talk to Lindsey. He'll be in big trouble.
Well, if Lindsey is skeptical about the Memorandum of Understanding, you can only imagine what he thinks about Trump's remarks about Syria and Israel. But before I get to that, let me encourage you to go to the Promethean Action website and sign up for our free newsletter. You've probably already figured out the world doesn't work quite the way you've been told, and we will help you navigate this new terrain. Trump's Syria remarks weren't an accident. They were a message. When Trump said Syria should handle Hezbollah if Israel can't do the job without killing everyone, that is a direct challenge to the carefully crafted imperial architecture which has kept the region in turmoil for decades. And Donald Trump pulled no punches.
Are you frustrated with Netanyahu, sir?
No, we had a great relationship. We're talking about some end details. I didn't like that he did an attack based on there was a very minor little thing with some drones that were released, and he ends up doing I saw that attack. I saw where that bomb went. Did you see what happened? That was a vicious, that was too much.
So, after suggesting again that Syria should handle Hezbollah better than Israel has, Trump addressed the potential of Lebanon, a Lebanon free of the Hezbollah threat.
I've had a great relationship with Bibi, but now Bibi has to be more responsible with respect to Lebanon. Lebanon used to be a great country. It was a country where you had professors, doctors, lawyers. The great intellect was in Lebanon. Now it's terrible. I would say of all countries, they've been treated the worst. And they can't defend themselves. And they have Hezbollah, which is a problem for them. So, no, I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. They should have been able to do the job faster. It just goes on forever.
That is pure Donald Trump, recognizing that Lebanon, which has an incredible intellectual tradition and used to be considered the Paris of the Middle East, needs to itself be liberated from the chessboard. And Bibi Netanyahu has not done it, so maybe Syria should. You see, Donald Trump doesn't deal with imperial proxies. He wants to deal with leaders and forces that could potentially represent their nation's sovereign interests, which is why he devoted more public press time with the Emir of Qatar and the president of the UAE on the first day of the G7 summit than he did with the other European leaders. Those Gulf leaders represent the interests of their countries far more than Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, Friedrich Merz, or Mark Carney do. Trump's foreign policy operates on the principle of sovereignty, that we have our interests, each nation has its interests, and you do not mediate relations through the lens of multilateral or supranational institutions. And that contrast is exactly what Mark Carney was complaining about in the run-up to the G7 summit. So to understand what really happened this week, listen to Mark Carney as he concedes that the old order is dead. Carney gave 2 speeches in Ireland the week before the G7, and you could call them concession speeches. Listen to him wave off the very institutions that he spent his life serving.
The Taoiseach just referenced Coalition of the Willing for Ukraine. We've been there. That's not NATO. It's not the G whatever that's coming together. It is a group of like-minded countries that are committed to supporting Ukraine.
Did you catch that? The empire's own central banker just told you that NATO is not really the operative factor. And the G7, which was supposed to be the crown jewel of the post-war order, he calls it the G whatever. When Mark Carney is this dismissive of his own institutions, the obituary has already been written. And then watch what the G7 produced this week. A joint declaration pledging to bolster Ukraine's military and tighten the screws on Russia. And yes, Donald Trump signed it. The headlines called it unity. Let me tell you what it really is. It's a bill, and it's not addressed to the United States. Under Donald Trump, the United States is not funding Ukraine. When arms go to Kiev, the Europeans buy them, and the Europeans pay for them, and the Europeans deliver them. So when the G7 pledges to bolster Ukraine's military, what they're really pledging is European money. And the question that nobody seemed to ask at Avian is whether Europe has any left. And it doesn't. And we know that because the empire told on itself just days before the summit. The man in charge of Britain's military, Defense Secretary John Healey, quit. Not over a scandal, but over money. He resigned because his own government refused to fund the British armed forces at the level needed. His armed forces minister walked out the door right behind him. The UK's Parliamentary Defence Committee called it a grave moment. So let that sink in. The empire that lectures the world about defending Ukraine and standing firm against Russia, its defense secretary resigned because Britain can no longer afford to defend itself. And that's who just pledged to arm Kiev. A broke empire, signing a check it can't cash. And that, not the war and not the weapons, is what has Mark Carney terrified. So listen to his real complaint, the line everybody quoted, but almost nobody understood.
The post-Cold War world of rules-based order is breaking down. Multilateral institutions have weakened. Economic integration, from which we have benefited, is being weaponized. The international trading system, which we've relied upon for decades, is under threat.
Breaking down, weakened, disappearing. Look at that. It isn't a list of armies or alliances. It's a list of the economic machinery, the multilateral institutions, the free trade system, the financial architecture. That's a banker's eulogy. And he's reading it because the thing that machinery was built to do, keep nations dependent, indebted, and controlled by the empire, is coming apart. Why? Because Donald Trump is reasserting the American system, the principle that every nation has the right and the duty to build its own economy, its own industry, and its own strength, instead of renting its future from London and Wall Street. That's the rupture that Carney is mourning. The post-war economic system is breaking down because it only worked when the United States submitted to its rules. And Donald Trump is no longer doing that, and he's now enforcing the rules of the American system. So go back to the question I opened with. In what world does the President of the United States hand Hezbollah to a former enemy in Damascus instead of Israel? The same world where he deals with the whole Iranian system instead of bombing it into chaos. And the same world where he lets a bankrupt Europe pay for its own war. Trump is done propping up the empire's proxies, its choke points, and its clients. He's dealing instead with nations on the basis of what they can build and defend on their own. That's why Iran, Syria, and Carney's panic are all the same story. The chessboard gives way to the American system. Carney calls it a rupture, Donald Trump calls it a golden age, and we call it the future. And this week at the G7 summit, it arrived. So if you want to fight for that future, go to the Promethean Action website and become a supporting member or contributor. This has been your midweek update. Thanks for watching.
Please take a moment and subscribe to our free newsletter at prometheanaction.com.
As always, so much information provided there. It's it's very obvious why the whole world. Well, it's funny. Like the world, the good guys all across the globe love Trump, and the bad guys all across the world hate Donald Trump. It's obvious why. Mm-hmm. We're what do you got to say, Josh?
Well, I got a lot. There's a lot to unpack there. So one thing I want you to remember that was said was that Donald Trump is speaking directly with the Iranian regime now. Okay. So what that means is that he's not going through another proxy to get results from Iran. Okay. Iran, the generals over there report to London, if you didn't know that. So now that he's bombed them and bombed them and bombed them and bombed them, the Iranian generals was like, we're done. We are going to side with our own people now. The drops allude to it also as well. At some point, the Iranian generals will side with the Iranian people because ultimately that's their family. So now Donald Trump is dealing directly with the Iranian regime and not the chair, which is London. Okay? So AJP's talked about it a lot, sovereignty. That's what this whole Trump reset is about too, is sovereignty. It's what can a nation do for itself and not operating through, like she said, multi-trilateral, this country contributes this and this country, and they all have this all little agreement. No, it's going to be every country for itself and what's good for that country. It was Mark Carney was saying that the old guard is dying. Q drop 1690. You are watching the systematic destruction of the old guard. The power will return to the people. That's what you're seeing right now. The Trump reset is the destruction of the old guard, and it's going through the economy, and it's cutting off the head of the snake, which is London and all of the bankers. Ukraine. It was talking about Ukraine. Q drop 3652. Let me get it pulled up right here. And it's Trump walking into the kitchen, and there's the big Ukrainian cookie jar. Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Mitt Romney, John Kerry, all have their hands in Trump saying, ha ha, I got you. And he's walking in and flipping the light on where they're operating in the darkness. People actually believe that those responsible for stealing billions of U.S. tax dollars will actually go unpunished. This is not simply another 4-year election. POTUS Q. When Ukraine falls, a lot of the money funneling falls with it. And what you're seeing is the systematic destruction of the old guard. You're seeing the world global is crushing in and collapsing in on London right now. They're losing this proxy. They're losing that proxy. They're losing this. They're losing that. So eventually, it's going to collapse under its own weight, and it's going to go away. And London the crown will be no more. And that's all I've got.
What do you got, Joe?
No comment there, Steve? No want to comment on that?
I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I don't know. My Wednesday's really tired. Like by the time, I don't know, I'm tired. With the 2 shows in one day, it knocks me out.
I know. Believe you me, I understand and I get it. No, Josh, you're absolutely spot on. And I want to take us back to the Declaration of Independence, shall we, which was signed on July 4th of 1776 for a reason, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate the governments long established should not be changed from light and transient causes, and accordingly all experiences hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariable the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. The destruction of the old guard, that is the absolute greatest explanation that you could possibly get, is directly from the Constitution. There's not much else to add to what Josh said there besides that in itself. This is why I'm a constitutionalist. This is why I truly believe that it is the answer to all of our problems. The global sovereignty, the sovereignty for us here in the States and Ukraine and Iran and Venezuela. You can go on and on and on. Every country, including Canada and our UK patriots, Ireland, there's uprisings happening there right now. We are literally witnessing the destruction of the old guard on multiple levels. It's amazing to watch, paying attention to it and going through this all and understanding that all roads do lead, to London, but that is being destroyed at this time. And it's amazing to watch. And you start to think about, the monetary aspect. I don't know if anybody got a chance to see it. I'm going to talk about it tonight as well in my show about Kevin Warsh having his first podium speech. I'm only going to play a couple of minutes because it was about 40 minutes long, but I did listen to the whole thing, and it's pretty interesting. So I want to talk about some of the things that Kevin Warsh, our new Fed chairman, talked about tonight as well. And when you start talking about the destruction of the old guard and the central banking system and all that, oh boy, you start to get people excited, and that's what we want to witness. In addition to the rest of the destruction that's happening, but we want to see the destruction of the central banking as well.
Actually, I got a question for you because I saw something about it, but I didn't get a chance to look into it. What's going on with Bill Pulte and Jay Clayton? There was something about a deal Trump made to try to get something passed, but I don't know. Do you know what's going on?
He just gave Pulte more time to do what he needs to do. In my opinion, he gave him some breathing room.
So Jay Clayton is still going to be the guy?
Yeah.
Just not as fast? Okay.
Again, when you start to think about how these people need to be implemented in certain spots, or how we don't have the House and Senate per se to get these people confirmed, Trump is using every loophole, in my opinion, to be able to implement whoever he needs, wherever he needs them, and whenever he needs them. So instead of having to worry about getting these people confirmed, which we know the House and Senate just sit on their hands and do nothing anyways, this is how he's been doing it. I truly believe that's part of the reason, why Pam Bondi got implemented, is because he knew that she would pass, so to speak, by getting implemented. But he also knew that she was just going to be there temporarily. And I think a lot of these positions are temporary positions. Well, they are specifically temporary positions, but it's all leading to, once we get the House and Senate back, and once we get control of the House and Senate, not only, like Josh said earlier, and like I've said quite a bit as well, is, it's very interesting because we are witnessing the destruction of the old guard, but we are returning the power back to the people at the same time. So this is like it's such an amazing operation on so many levels. It's impossible to sit here and explain to people, in 2 hours what's really going on. This is why we do shows all the time and talk about all these things and all this stuff and write articles and do Substacks and have different shows about different things, because it's so multifaceted, and trying to break it down for people and give people those pieces, whether, if you want to call them, I call them the slings and arrows, giving people the truth of slings and arrows, the good slings and arrows, to be able to help explain to people out there what they're witnessing and what is going on, because any normie is not going to understand how what Trump is doing in a major scale. But the people that have been following it and the people that have been watching this happen can explain it pretty darn good. And that's what we try to do for you guys here, every night, or every day for that matter, in the mornings, with Josh. It's not a simple, here you go, let me lay it out to you real quick, because it turns into a 3-hour conversation, right? But it's so important, and it's just amazing to witness.
Yep.
Especially with Josh, he can talk as much as you can.
You get both of us together.
No, seriously, there was a time Josh was always doing like 4-hour shows, right? Like a lot of your shows were like 4-hour shows, and I'm like, bro, that's just like
by myself.
Yeah,
just like
by
JP
yourself.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when those wheels get spinning, man, and you start connecting all those dots, and you start putting it all together, and you start seeing it in real time, like you just get on a roll. Like it just makes sense, right? And Josh and I followed the Q drops from the beginning for a long time, and so a lot of times it takes certain things for us to trigger, not in a bad way, in a good way, to trigger all the stuff and things that we learned from before, and then doing the connect the dots things. And once that all starts clicking, though, you're like, holy shit, yeah, here we go. And then you just go off. That's kind of how like my show was like supposed to be, a 30-minute show from the get-go, rapid fire news for a reason, right?
All that. I never thought about that. The name of your show is not you at all, but
no, it was supposed to be rapid fire. Like it was supposed to be like a 30-minute segment just to touch on, the most important things of the day. Here are the main topics for the day. Here you go check these out. Right. Then it turned into an hour within the first week. It was an hour because there's no way I could talk about everything that was going on in a half an hour. Then it was 2 hours, and then it blew up. It blew up, Now there's just so much going on that I feel like I want to get it all out there. I want to get it all on video. I want to talk about it as much as possible. And it's been a bit of a detriment at the same time, because there's been times where I logged off and I'm like, holy shit, I'm exhausted. Like it just mentally trying to remember and go through everything that's been going on. But I'm not saying that to complain, because I absolutely love this. I love doing this. I love talking about it. I love trying to show people and arm them with the truth. And so they can kind of be that red pill, be that change themselves that they want to see in their communities. And that's what we spread, right? We spread the truth so they can have those slings and arrows for it.
I mean, Josh, could you imagine right now, getting off of this stream and starting up your own and going for like another 4 or 5 hours?
Nope.
Nope. So many times when this show is ending and I'm exhausted and I'm trying not to yawn on the camera and stuff, and I'm just thinking to myself, how is he going to do that? And it's crazy.
He does it. I want to say this one thing about Pulte, okay? Q drop 2654. Public opinion optics do not matter. Temps can be very dangerous to those who are targeted. Q. And everybody lost their minds when he got nominated for the, or he got put into the temporary position because he's going to do some damage, people, and Trump just gave him a little bit more time to do it.
Yeah, but like, why wouldn't Jay Clayton be able to do exactly what Pulte's going to do?
Because he's going to be the temporary, or he's going to be the permanent. Public opinion does not matter when you're a temp. You can do whatever the hell you want to. And
yeah, I see what you're saying. Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right, gentlemen, that's all I got. Josh, it was awesome having you back on the show.
Man, that's awesome. I love this show.
Yeah, we were talking. We're going to try to get Josh on like once a month, maybe. And Tracy, hopefully she can make it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy that this started with you and I, and it's gone through a lot of different. I don't know. We had Scott after you, and then it was just kind of like everybody switching in and out every week, and then just kind of ended up with AJP, Julie, and KC. Four of us just I don't know.
That's how God works, man.
Yep. But yeah, no, it was awesome having you on. And Freedom 76, thank you so much for the $20 Rumble Rants. That's a great show, you guys. 3 of you should do more shows together. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's better than people like, this one sucked.
That would hurt my feelings.
So
the real fire justice. The real fire justice. There you go.
There you go.
That's awesome. Josh, any final thoughts for the audience tonight?
Just stay focused. Just keep red pilling, just like AJP did today. Going out and talking about facts and things like that. That's how you red pill people. That's how you get them thinking, well, maybe what I'm thinking isn't exactly right. So yeah, that's all I've got. Just keep at it, keep hammering away at people.
AJP, final thoughts?
Yeah, thank you guys all for hanging out with me tonight. And it's great, like I said, man, to kind of go full circle again and being here with you two guys that created this from the beginning. And again, just being part of Truther Media, I really feel like we are finding our stride right now. And once we all get together here in a couple of weeks and we really get to hang out with each other, we're going to truly be able to expand the love for each other, so to speak. And I can't wait for that. But
it's going to be on, guys. We got a house, and wow,
it's going to be fun.
I got one more thing.
What?
Go ahead.
So, I don't know if everybody back in the day was on message boards. But I have purchased a message board so people can put their digs. They can go somewhere outside of X and not compete for likes, views, and followers and all that thing. It's just straight information. So I'm hoping to get that thing launched by next week. It's bare bones right now, but it is functional. And I'm just hoping to get it up and rolling so everybody can have somewhere to go offside of X and kind of converse with each other, and it's going to be completely free too.
Awesome.
Yeah, when I asked you about it, you were like, like the Chans.
Yeah.
I like it.
What did I say to you, Josh? I asked you something really stupid, and you're like,
where's it going to be? And I said the internet.
I'm like, oh.
What an idea. No, they're all going to line up at Steve's house, and we're all going to have the conversation at Steve's house. Everybody go over there to New York. We're going to do it live right in front of each other.
Would love that.
It's like a town meeting, right, Steve?
Yep. Hey, Josh, you're doing your show in the morning, correct?
Yep. I will be there 8 a.m.
You got Tracing Justice tomorrow night?
Yep, and we're starting on episode 2 from Q back to the beginning. So we're actually going to start in the drops this week, and we're going to be working from Q drop 0 forward. So join us at 8 p.m. a.m. for Dawning Justice and 8 p.m. Eastern for Tracing Justice. And Tracy will be on with me, Lord willing, and if nothing happens with the grandkids or anything.
Good. So, actually, Joe, do you want me to let you go so I can so you can get ready for me to raid over to Pilled.
Yeah.
I already got. Yeah. You
Okay.
want?
Yeah.
Again,
thank you guys, both Josh and Steve. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, I really enjoy these Wednesday chats. It's great. I love my shows. I do my thing, but I don't get a chance to just have conversations like we do on Wednesdays, and of course, Sunday night with Steve also. But just love these conversations, and you guys out there in the chat, over on Rumble and Pilled and X, as per usual, you guys have been on fire. I'm going to try to get through the rapid fire news as quick as possible tonight. I was already kind of walking around a little bit. I'm pretty sore. Just sitting is not great for me when I had this adjustment. And so I got to keep moving around. So I'm going to try to get through it, make it a quick show. And I know everybody's going to give me shit the second I start saying that. Yep. Everybody knows it's probably a 4-hour show, but I really do want to try to get through it as quick as possible tonight and try to get some rest. I know that there's light at the end of the tunnel with all the stuff and things that I've been dealing with. And it's just a matter of time before my mother-in-law starts feeling better. And she's able to kind of, like right now, I'm texting my daughter while I'm talking to you guys to make sure that my mother-in-law is in bed and she's okay and all that stuff. Like, it's a constant thing and stuff. But I appreciate all you guys' love and support out there. I've got a bunch of tabs open, so we'll see how quick we can get through it all. But I hope you guys have a fantastic Wednesday. Stay in the love, stay in the light, and stay in the fight. Much love, fam. God bless.
Love you, brother. We'll see you later.
Yep. Talk to you guys later.
Yep.
What is everybody saying quick show for? I don't understand that. Everybody's like, quick show. Psh. I'm like, we're at like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
I crack up from people in the chat all the time. So, yeah, Hootie Hoo's like only 3 hours. And then Jeff says, bing, bing, bong.
AJP was talking about, it started off 30 minutes. And you remember when I started Dawning Justice, I said 30-minute wrap up. And then it turned into 1 hour wrap up.
I remember you're like, Steve, I'm thinking of doing a show. I'm going to call Dawning Justice. It's going to be a quick 30-minute show. And I'm just like, no, I don't think you ever even tried to do 30 minutes, did you?
I hit it like a couple of times, and I'm like, there's just too much going on. There's just too much. So then it turned into an hour, and now we're at 2 hours, back again at Dawning Justice every morning. 2 hours.
Are you? Usually 2 hours?
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good stuff, man. It was great being on screen with you again.
Yeah.
So, no, what were you going to say?
I said, like I told you today in the text messages, I'm like, man, I miss being on camera with you, man. It's man, we were there at the beginning, so I thank you for having me back. I was excited when you said you needed help for Real Justice. I said, I'm here. Put me in, coach.
You did while I was still on the show. You said it right there in the chat. So
yeah.
So all right, guys, I just wanted to give AJP a little bit of time here to get set up on Pilled so I can raid over to there. I'm going to raid over on Rumble as well. Make sure you guys check out our website. Josh has put a lot of work into it, guys. Truthermedia.com. It's got our interactive show schedule on there, information on everybody in Truther Media. It's got our mission statement and all sorts of good stuff to look at, and he's always looking to expand that website, so check that out. Thank you guys, my mod squad, everybody that's been in the chats tonight over on Pilled, X, and Rumble. Love you guys. Anybody that donated, thank you so much. Means the world. And again, make sure you check out Dawning Justice tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, and then Tracing Justice at 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, there's no Keeping It Real tomorrow for me, because I need to move my daughter out of one apartment and into another with no help from her because she's in Europe. So, so my wife and I are going to be moving some furniture and all that fun stuff, plus having like 8 hours of driving. So I'll be doing that. Yeah. But I'll be back on Friday, guys, 12 p.m. Eastern. And until next time, control your mind, protect your emotions, stay in the signal, and ignore the noise. I'll see you guys in a few minutes in AJP's chat. Good night, friends. Love you guys.
See you guys.
Bye, Josh. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
I've been waiting for this moment for all